Hey, good morning. It's February the 22nd, as hard as that is to believe already. And I want to welcome you to another episode of A Cup with Mr. Larry. And so let's just go ahead and jump right in and we'll get started. So let me share my screen. So here's February the 22nd was an interesting choice of national day. So we could have had the National How to Cook a Sweet Potato Day, or a National California Day, or a National Margarita Day. So didn't take too much thought on how to choose that for most people that I expect to want to watch this. So have a happy National Margarita Day, whatever that means for you. So here's our quote for today. It's by old Coach Wooden. It says, "Do not let what you cannot do interfere with what you can do." Right? Oftentimes we think we can't do anything because there are a couple of things we can't do. The truth is, God made us with certain gifts and skills and graces, and we need to discover those and use those and do what we can with what we got and move on. So there's a hopefully a word of encouragement for somebody today. So here's our deal. I'm going to just stay on this thing because it kind of ties into what I'm going to talk about today, and that's mathematically it is no longer possible for the federal government to change the financial mess that Americans will face in the future. Truth is, we're facing them today, right? But they're going to get worse and worse and worse. And here's why. Let me just go ahead and give you a wake up call this morning. For the first time since the end of World War II, our national debt is now bigger than our entire economy. Yep. Our debt is bigger. What we owe is bigger than what we create. That's unsustainable, right? And so, and that doesn't include the $1.9 trillion that they're talking about adding on onto this thing to help people out. And listen, we need to help people out, but we also need to do this in a way that is fiscally responsible. We just, we think the easy answer is just, well, we'll print more money. Well, when we're printing money, somebody's buying up that money and it's a debt. So let me share with you, if that hadn't already bugged you a little bit, let me just share a couple of things. The CBO, the Congressional Budget Office, has this interesting quote. It says, this debt thing deserves more attention than we're giving it, because every American is going to be paying for it for decades. Hear me now. This is not going to be something that we're going to be able to get over yesterday, right? And so the truth is, I'm not going to live in another 10, 20 years, maybe, hopefully, God willing. But think about what this is going to do for our kids and our grandkids. It's going to saddle them with a debt that's unrealistic. If you want to really see it, go to the us.clock.org and look at the numbers, because those are pretty much live numbers. So step number one is the CBO says we're in deep trouble. The Wall Street Journal had a quote that says, the U.S. has never conducted a fiscal experiment like this, and the laws of economics have never been repeated. Somebody's going to pay the piper sooner or later. And let me tell you what, the first that need to really be worried about this is everybody who's got money sitting in a qualified plan. Everybody who's got money in an IRA, a 401k, a 403b, any of those qualified plans. Go today, right now, when you get off this call, and go right now and look at your statement. I dare you to do that. I double dog dare you to do that. And when you look at that statement, how much of that money is yours? Well, Mr. Larry, it's all mine. No, it's not. That's the lie they tell us. That's the lie. That's the myth we want to believe. Every single nickel in that qualified account is fully taxable. Somebody, your heirs are going to pay tax on that money when it comes out. When it comes out of that safe harbor, it's going to get taxed. You want to tax it now when taxes are relatively cheap, or do you want to hang on to it so that you can pay the full fare? Right now, the average 401k, about a third of that money already belongs to the Uncle Sam, the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service. That's your partner in that account. That's a sobering thing. Listen, let's just be honest, right? I mean, it's just us. Let's talk. When you look at that account, there ain't enough in it anyway for most people. And when you realize what you've worked all these years to accumulate, about a third to 40% of that money belongs someplace else. There's a debt. That's the single biggest debt most people will have. That's staggering. And nobody talking about it, right? Well, I want to talk about it. I want to tell you about it. Now, if you hear the news and you decide not to do anything about it, well, okay. But I've done my part, right? The federal government cannot fix our mess. But the good news is individually, we can fix our mess. If this is going to sound like I'm trying to sell you something, but what I'm trying to get you to do is have a conversation with somebody, and I'm not just saying your typical stockbroker. Now, they may be a good guy and all that, but they're not looking at all of this. Go and have a conversation with somebody about taxes and your part of that's coming. Ask them about the tax torpedo. We're going to hold that for another day. But if you've got money in a qualified plan and you look and see that the federal government owes more money than we're creating, something's going to have to happen. And it's not terribly good news. So there's a nice, warm, fuzzy conversation for a Monday morning, but that's the truth. That's the truth. So, good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, as they say. We'll be back tomorrow, Tuesday, for another cup of coffee with, I about spilled that, another cup of coffee with Mr. Larry. Y'all go and have a blessed day. Remember, God loves you, and he's especially fond of you. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.